Yeah, very much so. We showed a lot of character. It was a tough game as expected against a good lead side, which was a mixture of young and old, same as us. But I thought the players showed tremendous character at the end to get the win.
Yeah, how did you assess your team's performance overall? I mean, as you said, it was a blend of youth and experience, wasn't it? You're happy with how that worked out?
Yeah, overall we're happy. As with every game, there's always areas that you can work on. So we've addressed those today, but 90% positive really. Things you can't coach, like our desire to win at the end. I think we're great. I think the big positive from it as well was a mixture of our squad. So we had Nick Carpenter making debut, third ever adult game of rugby, alongside the likes of Mariano Sambasetti, who's seasoned international. The one thing they had in common, they both showed that real desire to get a win in a Bristol shirt. So massively positive from that point of view.
Yeah, and is that going to be the philosophy for the rest of the competition, to pick a mixed blend of experience and youth, do you think?
Yeah, it will. It'll be a mixture, as in seasons past. Chance for young players to get much needed experience and to put their hand up and say, I can play at this level, and a chance for older, more experienced players to put their hand up for championship selection.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a positive from this competition, isn't it? I mean, much has been made about it in the past, but without this competition, the likes of Nick Carpenter you just spoke about wouldn't probably get their chance so early.
Yeah, as in seasons past, I think we talked about last week, it was the likes of George Watkins and Marco and Jack Tovey. They were first blooded in the B&I competition, so as a competition it's got many many positives for us. One of those positives is to give young players their first real chance to show what they can do. But what Andy and Sean have shown this year also is if players train and play well, then they'll be picked in championship games as well. So it is a pat on the back for the young players, but at some stage those young players will want to break into the championship side. So if they keep producing the goods, then they'll stick their hand up for that as well.
Yeah, and of course it wasn't all good. You had a couple of injuries. Mark Lilly, I suppose, the more most notable of those. What's the latest on his situation?
Oh, it's nothing major. It was just bumps and bruises. He had a little bit of a knock the week before. He needed 2 games really to back up last week, and it was more precautionary than anything serious. So nothing major at all.
No, which is good news, of course. And from your point of view, then you've got pretty much a fully fit squad to choose from for the weekend.
Yeah, we have. We've got players coming back. Obviously, good to get Nicky Robinson his first start in a Bristol shirt. For two, Otto come back from a slight bang. This week, Jack Tovey will be back in reckoning for selection. Will be in the match day squad. So again, to go back to how useful the competition is, it gets players back out playing, which you can't replicate on the training field. So pretty fit and healthy and positive place to be.
Yeah, and Ross Johnston as well, back after his ban. I guess he'll have a chip on his shoulder almost, won't he, for this one?
He always has got a chip on his shoulder. He'll be back, itching to play, trained really well. He's a great asset to the squad, Ross. Even he's not been in contention for selection, obviously because of his ban, but he's good to have about the place. Always trains well, and it's a positive influence on the squad. So looking forward to seeing Ross back out there. Obviously, it'll be a short trip for him as well, so he'll save a bit of petrol money, which will please him as well.
I mean, from your point of view, to be able to have an experienced player like Ross coming back in, it's a big boost, isn't it? Because I mean, obviously, when you have players coming back from injury, you've got to feel their way back in. But when you have someone who's sort of chomping at the bit, I suppose, to come back in, it must make it a little bit different.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's also actually given other players opportunities. So Ollie Hayes has done very well whilst Ross has been out. Rhys Lawrence has added also. I think Ross coming back again makes that competition for selection heightened. He's also a good influence on the squad. So you go back to the young players playing to Joe Joyce, be around the matchday squad. Having someone like Ross in that group is a real help to the young players as well. So yeah, looking forward to seeing Ross back out there.
And Aberavon, what do you make of their start? A good start for them in terms of a win, with you at the top of the pool at the moment.
Yeah, great start for them in Gala. Always obviously a tough long trip. So for them to win in looking at the score in quite convincing fashion will give them a real boost going into this weekend. We know that they've got a close link with the Ospreys, so they'll have some young Ospreys players playing for them, and some older experience Aberavon regulars. So probably in the same boat as us in terms of the team that they're going to select. One thing they will be is a very well coached and passionate side. So it'll be a tough encounter.
Yeah, is it more, or does it obviously can help with your preparations when you're playing against a team that are bringing players from the Ospreys you don't know too much about and you haven't had a chance to scout them too much?
Not really. To be honest, I always look at it as a positive, because what it does is it forces you to look at yourself on occasions when you've got a lot of familiarity with the teams that you play, and you can sometimes over analyse. But it's a good opportunity to say, let's do what we do as well as we can, and we'll have a look at Aberavon come kick-off. We'll obviously try and get some footage on them and pay them the respect that they deserve, but we will focus, as we do most weeks, on ourselves and being as good as we can be.
Yeah, and the Anglo-Welsh games always extra spice on those. This would probably be no different.
Yeah, I can't wait. We're really looking forward to it. We've obviously got some Welsh boys in the camp, in the coaching staff and the playing group, and I think the word coming out of Aberavon is they're really looking forward to Bristol, the fans and support, and the players coming down, and I'm sure it'll be a tasty atmosphere and a good experience all round.
Yeah, they haven't had the best of starts in the domestic league, have they? They're bottom of the table at the moment, but I guess that sort of form goes out the window.
Yeah, it does, and I know it's fairly. You maybe think in professionalism it's not as relevant, but there still is extra spice where an English side plays with the Welsh side. There's a lot of tradition in Bristol for rugby, as there is in Aberavon, and there's always that extra little bit of spice, and I think that's again a real good learning environment to be in for the younger players, and it always proves to be quite a fiery and an intense affair. So it should be a good afternoon. Thanks very much.
Just a couple from me and Matt. We've had a chance to look at the video from Sunday and talked about the things that you enjoyed, desire at the end, the hunger, the good defence at the end. What did you think you've got to work hard on this week? What were the things that think, okay, that wasn't quite so good?
Yeah, but nothing that was unexpected. It was just, obviously we had a very new team playing together, new combinations. As said earlier, a mixture of youth and experience. So there were, little unit and system errors. So today we've had a session of just trying to get a little bit of clarity on, our plays and getting people to start reading each other and understand each other a little bit better. That was expected, and that's what has come out of the game really. So this week will be giving the selected team as much chance to train together as possible.
We're like almost 6, 7, 8 weeks into the season. Bristol in a good place at the moment?
Yeah, very good place. Yeah, it's I think you can see that there's team spirit and togetherness is a word that's used a lot in sport. I always ask the question what that looks like, and I thought we saw what it looked like in the last 5 minutes against Leeds at the weekend. That is a team that want to play for each other and want to put their head where it hurts and see out victories. So I think that was a good reflection of actually the spirit in the camp.